Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Manifesting Happiness podcast with myself, manifestation coach and author of Manifesting Happiness, Miss Manifesther, but you guys can just call me Esther. On this podcast, we're going to be exploring all things manifestation, spirituality, and mindset. But ultimately, it is for you guys to create your best conscious life, creating happiness on your terms, having a bit of fun, some giggles along the way. I am a massive goofy goober, so I cannot promise what is going to go down. And today I am being joined by the beautiful Hanna Bier. Hey Hannah, how are you doing?
I'm so excited to be here. Hey, Esther, congrats on your new podcast.
Thanking you for being here. Hannah is a money coach, as an energy healer, clairvoyant and family constellation expert and certified life coach. She has woven her diverse skill set into a proven and innovative capacity to allow her clients to transform their relationship with money from the inside out. Hannah spent 7 years trying to answer the question, is it possible to create wealth without compromising our health, wellness, and or happiness? Can we actually create abundant lives while living a life of joy? She works with ambitious women all over the world to recreate their relationship with money in a life-affirming, positive, and loving way. Well, I'm assuming then the answer to your question is yes.
Absolutely, it is.
How did you come onto this journey? What was your relationship with money ahead of you becoming that person that helps others do the same with their money mindset relationship?
Yeah, for as long as I can remember, I've been terrified about money and
Really?
doubting that I can make it, doubting that I can keep it, doubting that I'll know what to do with it, doubting that it can last, doubting that
Mm.
it's safe, bright, and good to have a lot of money. I was terrified of my future. It always felt like the rug could be pulled out from underneath my feet at any moment. I wasn't planning for the future at all. I
Mm.
was just feeling like a broke loser for most of my life. And I felt like most areas of my life I could figure out. Like my relationships, I could figure out. My health, I could figure out. I could read a book, hire a coach, figure it out somehow. But money was the thing that even when it was working better and when my business was turning a really great profit, it still
Mm.
felt like the one thing in my life that wasn't feeling good. So even when I
Mm.
had enough, it didn't feel enough. And it was the last thing that just felt like, ugh, like just not right for me.
Did you often feel like you were kind of powerless and out of control with money? Because I think a lot of people feel like it's that thing of money comes and money goes, but you might suddenly get hit with an unexpected bill or an unexpected cost, and it's like surprise. And I think a lot of people feel like then they don't have that control of when money flows.
Absolutely. The numbers didn't make any sense. Like just the
Mm.
math didn't check out. It felt like money was honestly disappearing out of my bank accounts. Like it made no sense. It felt like a poltergeist syndrome almost that I was having with money, where it just
Yeah.
felt jinxed. Like I was like, how can got a good degree, I've got a business, like I'm capable. How come money is the
Mm.
thing that just isn't working somehow? And yeah, and so I started on this path out of necessity. I
Mm.
realized at some point that money was the one thing that I couldn't escape. Money was always going to be a big part of my life. And I didn't want to constantly live in this dark cloud with money, constantly feeling
Mm.
like I'm not smart enough, I can't figure it out, constantly feeling deflated and embarrassed at my bank balance, or feeling like I wasn't being paid the amount that I really wanted. And one thing that really stressed me out, so I'm a very soul-led person. I've lived in many different countries, and when my
Mm.
soul tells me to do something, I have to do it. Like
You're
I
gone.
can't, like it has to be now. It can't be in 5 minutes. When I decided to leave Amsterdam, I just woke up one morning. I was like, it's time to go. Within a week, I was out. I called
Yeah.
my landlord the same day. I was like, I'm going to take a week and then I'm going to leave. Like, I have to go. And so I traveled for a while and then settled in London. But I felt like I wanted to have an abundance of money so that I could start making decisions based on soul
Mm.
and not constantly feel like money is the reason why I can't do certain things or why I have to do other things. I didn't want money to be the decision maker in my life. I wanted to make decisions based on what my soul was telling me to do. And in order to live that way, I needed to get my money in order, and I needed to make sure that I always have a lot of money and a really consistent flow of money that would enable me to live the way that I really wanted to live.
So would you say, I've got so many questions, by the way, off the back of some of the things that you just said. It's like my brain's going. Would you say then that money is freedom?
To me, I see money. Okay, so we're going to take this in a different direction. To me,
Cool.
I even see money as an expression of love. I
Yeah,
see
beautiful.
money as, just like we're breathing in love through air, and we're eating love through food, and we're receiving love, through laughter with our friends and through getting to contribute through our work. Money to me is an expression of love. And I realized that with myself, I didn't have a very big capacity for receiving and having love. And so even though I was making money, it just magically disappeared. It wasn't growing, it wasn't compounding. And so I needed to work on this internal capacity to be really comfortable with having a lot of love, letting money love me, letting money be a solution, letting money to be the magic carpet underneath my feet that lets me, travel to distant, wonderful places, letting it be the wind in my sails. And I think so many people have the same experience where money feels like an obstacle. And the case that I'm trying to make is that money is supposed to be a solution. Money is supposed to be the thing that opens doors for you. Money is supposed to be the resource that helps you make choices that are congruent with what truly matters to you. And, in the process of fixing my relationship with money, like, the new numbers on my bank account and all the money that I have, like, that's really fun and nice. But what I love most is the freedom of choice that it has given me.
Do you feel like I sometimes kind of try to frame money up as a friend. So it's almost to like give it those humanistic qualities of like it does love you, because I think to a lot of people like they would think like how can an object kind of love you and want to be with you. So I always try to see it as like a friend who wants to come play, party with me, spend money, do fun things with me because I'm a fun person or I'm a good person or whatever the framework is on that. But would you agree then that money is just it's just an energy? What tips would you give people to frame money into something good rather than it being this big evil scary thing that might love you one day and it might not the next?
Yeah, I want to offer a perspective. So when we were little, our mom and dad were supposed to care for us and love us,
Mm.
right? And then as we grow up, we're supposed to use money to love and care for ourselves. This is why money is so emotionally charged.
Mm.
And so when we begin to see money as this resource to love ourselves and to meet our needs and to bring our desires to fruition, we can then expand on that and picture, two babies being born. Is one of them more deserving of love and care and security, and well-being than the
Mm.
other? Right? The answer is no. And so the same applies to you. You, just like any other person on planet Earth, is deserving of feeling secure, of feeling, well fed, of feeling snuggly and cozy in bed at night, sleeping soundly at night, knowing that all is well, and you've got plenty of money to help you through whatever comes next in your life. And so money to me is this, or abundance to me, it is the biological reality. It is the truth of how life works on our planet. And it is so safe, right, and good and completely natural to have an overflow of it. And so start to think about money as, just like everybody deserves love, everybody deserves an abundance of financial resources. Just like everybody deserves to have a safe home, I too deserve to have all of that. And it takes money to create that for myself. So seeing money as air, as love, as sleep, as rest, just as important as all of those things, was a mindset shift that really helped me.
I completely agree. And I think seeing money as a resource, a bit like oxygen, that it's just continuously available and we're not ever questioning going, am I going to run out of oxygen? It's, subconsciously we just know, trust and believe the oxygen is always there. So can we normalize and put money under that same kind of umbrella of it's always there, it's always available to me, rather than that it could run out. So I'm going to flip the kind of conversation ever so slightly, but we'll bring it all back round. So what's your experience of manifesting, and what does manifestation mean to you? Because I think when we think about money, a lot of people just start to think, okay, well, I just got a budget and do these very kind of 3D human things. So obviously it'd be amazing to link up manifesting and spirituality and conscious creation with money. So what does manifesting mean to you, and when did you first kind of get into it as a concept?
Yeah, I like to do both. I
Mm.
love the manifesting, and I love the tangible. So with my clients, I always tell them, I was always asking the question, like, what if today somebody in heaven turned off the law of attraction, and like there was some glitch, and it like somebody turns it off, and you can only create money and fulfill all of your financial dreams using your choices and your actions alone.
Mm.
Would that be enough for you to reach all of your goals? And I want the answer to be yes.
Sure.
So we fully tap into our own abilities, into our own creative capacities as unlimited creator beings that we are on planet
Mm.
Earth. And then I also really love maximizing the law of attraction. So we've got both. So we've got 100% of our personal choices and action taking, and 100% of the law of attraction. And I love to picture the energy that I want like a dress. Like every day in the morning, I just think, what's the energy I want to wear today? Do I want to wear the energy of like lavish, interesting, abundant, financial overflow? And so I just picture it's like a robe, it's like a dress that I put on, and I just walk through my life that way, because I know that the energy that I emanate starts to, I'll picture and create the life all around me. I find that most people struggle with money when they do one or the other. I find that the most fun way to create money is to have both, where you get like
Mm.
the random windfalls of money, like the magical makes no sense. Like it happened so many times for me that I looked at my bank account and I was like, this is so much more money. Like the math, again, like here the math again doesn't check out, but in a really positive way, where it's
Mm.
way more money. Like it makes no sense. Like somebody just switched around the numbers in my bank account. I have so much more than I really should be having, but thank you. I love the magic manifestation, but
Yeah.
I love so much getting to buy shit for myself. I
Mm.
love being like, I'm going to buy all of this stuff and I made the money. And I know exactly how I created it. And I love this feeling
Mm.
of being really capable with money. So I love both so much.
And I think this is like what you're touching on so well, is it's this blend out between magic and then aligned action. Because I think a lot of people in law of attraction, particularly that universal law, think it is just about magnetism and that stuff just comes to you. But I personally believe there's always aligned actions, because to me, manifesting, if everything is manifesting through you, that includes your behaviors, that includes your actions, that includes the way you are showing up to the game that is life, to your human experience. And obviously, like you say, when you put that robe on of, I am abundant and I've got this and I'm a complete boss babe and I'm going to make some serious moves. I believe in myself. I'm not, fearing judgment or whatever, and living limitlessly from that mindset. You're going to show up, I think, for your money and in ways to create money that perhaps other people wouldn't do. So I think it is this absolute blend between your magnetic energy, what you're allowing and flowing into your life, combined with the way in which you are showing up. Can you think, I always love to do this, to dissect. Can you look at Hanna from, say, I don't know, 10 years ago and go, okay, how is Hanna showing up differently to Hanna now? What's the difference?
I was frozen in fear at the time.
Mm.
I was so scared of taking action. It felt like if I were to do something, that would be a very good possibility of it actually harming me and it not being fruitful. So I had this belief, why even take action? Why even take steps if it could actually harm me and not really work out for me and not really make my life better? And so a big piece of my growth as a person was to learn that my actions can be fruitful, that money can be consistent, that I am capable, I can do this. You know, life really does work out for me. And that's what I love so much about money is that it just has been pushing all of my buttons in all the like sorest ways and all the ways that I really needed. It has grown me, you know, like nothing else. And I didn't
Mm.
choose this path. Like I was pondering, am I going to move to a commune? Am I just going to marry a rich guy? Like I wanted out. And then I realized, you know, maybe this is a healing journey for me. Maybe money isn't as shallow, you know, as it looks at first. Maybe this is a really deeply healing, you know, a friend, right? Like you said, like a friend and a healer that can lead me more deeply into who I am and show me what I'm actually capable of. And then on the flip side, you know, today, like I love taking action. Like I manifest things all day long, and I love taking action so much. I feel much safer when I get to take action, and it feels energizing for me. That's also something that many of us get wrong about money that I learned. My main teacher with money is the honeybee. So I actually didn't learn much about money from humans. I talked to animal archetypes a lot. And so the
Okay.
honeybee taught me that work is supposed to be joyful, it's supposed to be nourishing and energizing. And it really shifted my relationship to creating abundance through her guidance. And so anybody listening who feels like, you know, this making money topic is so tiring to
Mm.
me because I'm already exhausted and it feels like in order to reach my goals, I would have to do more. You know, kind of start to see it through the perspective of the honeybee. Taking action, working is supposed to feel energizing. And when it feels that way, and it feels that every time that you do take action, you work, get amazing, nutritious, delicious honey, you know, that's what it's supposed to feel like, even though hardly anybody experiences work from that energy.
It's such a beautiful energy because I'm sure you feel the same. For me in my work, I classically someone would say, and I would say, I work hard, but at the same time I love every minute of it. You know, I'm not going to sit here and say, yeah, I only work, you know, 1 hour a day or something like that. I do work, you know, and put the hours in, but it doesn't feel like hard work. It feels joyful. And I think obviously that's the dream state, to get to a place where it's always, and I get to do this. I get to wake up and live life, and I get to wake up and work, rather than it kind of waking up and feeling like a complete should do or a graft. Do you think there's a difference between taking actions that aren't aligned and actions that are aligned and are more fruitful because perhaps they've got the right energy behind them? Have you got any tips for people to kind of feel into knowing within themselves when they're maybe just taking an action out of pushing or forcing or fear versus doing it from that space of love?
Absolutely. I feel like we're being sold um, by well-intentioned people who probably, you know, are just like us. They're just as human as we are. Um, some some truths about work and business and money that I would rather not be true for me. So I'm going to say it like this. And one thing that my clients constantly bring to their sessions is this idea that you put in work and you don't get paid for it and you have to do it over and over and over and over and over again. And then one day, hopefully, you're break even and then the heavens open and all the money shows up. And my perspective that I want to offer is it is normal and safe, right, and good to get paid for everything that you do and to get paid every single day and to wake up to new interest in working with you all the time. You know, just like the bakery down the road that opens every day, sells bread every day, receives consistent income every single day, turns a profit every single day. If you're in business or even in your personal finances as just a human being on planet Earth, you should be turning a profit every day and all the time, and that is more normal, you know, than anything else. So if you have some money approaches or business approaches that feel heavy in your body, or it just feels like deflating or heavy, even if mentally it seems logical and true, it's probably not true in the greater sense with a capital T. And we probably don't want it to be true for you. You know, uh, I have a 3-year-old daughter. I work like 2 hours a day. I make a really lovely income. I work because I want to, not because I have to. This
Mm.
is one of the things that was really important for me to set up with my finances, that I don't have to work. that I work because I'm really inspired, but that my bank accounts are full, that so that I can really focus on, serving my clients. And so my invitation is to tune into that feeling of truth in your body and just start to, ponder some different approaches to money and business and feel which ones feel lighter. And so too often, we're being taught this is just how it is, and this is how you have to do money. And I used to be a part of this mastermind, and one of the teachings was, in order to scale, it takes money to scale, takes money to scale. And I was like, my business is scaling, and it doesn't take big investments. It doesn't take big financial risks. So if you're being taught something about money or business, and it makes your stomach go, ugh, there's probably a better way to do it. And keep searching until you find the lighter alternative that feels so much better in your body.
I could be completely, wrong on this one. And, obviously you and I are both in the coaching industry, so we see possibly things that other people don't see outside of the coaching industry. But I think one of the super toxic kind of narratives is, if you're not making this massive investment, why would anyone make a massive investment in you? Or you have to be, making those kind of investments to say, yeah, I'm worthy and I'm ready. And there's just a lot of very kind of marketing out there around that. So yeah, have you got any kind of advice to anybody who may come across this kind of like icky? It's shame, isn't it? Really, it's like if you're not doing this, then you're not ready.
Makes me shudder. And then another one that I've heard is, if you don't invest this type of money, no client is ever gonna, pay you this. So you have to be hiring the 50K a year coach, and only then can you charge 50K a year. And so anytime that there's a rule where somebody says, you have to do this and only then can you, like, I'm out. Like, if somebody puts conditions like that on my ability to, so again, like, money is an expression of love. If we change the word money to love, love doesn't come with conditions like that. Like, that is emotional manipulation. Imagine if your parents said to you when you were little, you'll only get love when you finish your plate. Many of us have had this experience. Does that feel loving to you? You'll only get a hug if you start crying, if you stop crying. You'll only get to go to bed if you, clean up your toys. You only get to come on vacation with us if you apologize to your brother. Like, that's not love. None of this is love. And so it feels like, in order to receive the love and the financial abundance that you want, you have to hurt yourself in some way. And making a financial investment that it feels like a really big, crazy risk, I would be a little apprehensive. And again, like, you can tune into the feeling of truth in your own body. I always tell my clients, like, take the road that feels light. The right next step for you feels light. It feels accessible. It feels doable. Probably makes you laugh because you'll be like, oh, this is so much easier than what I thought. This is like excellent news. This is so much better. And so when there's a potential choice or a potential first step that just feels heavy, hold off for a moment and think, what's a better way of getting there? What's a way of getting there that doesn't mean that I have to hurt myself or that I have to take a crazy risk? This little risk-taking business, I'm the least risk-averse person. Like, I don't take risks in any area of my life at all. And my entire life, I felt like bad about it because I thought, in order to be a success, you have to like take risks. And then I was part of this mastermind in Paris for a couple of years. And all of my business friends were taking risks. And I had so much more money and so many more clients and a lot more ease and a lot more free time and a lot more relaxation in my business. I was like, I'm not going to stress myself out like these people with like the big teams and the complicated structures. That just doesn't work for me. And so anybody who's like me, who's a little bit of like a sensitive soul and who doesn't feel comfortable doing that, you don't have to. Like,
No.
People just make up those rules. They don't have to apply to you.
I think you've touched on two really important things. So the first one was what you said about, you got to spend 50K to make 50K or that kind of thing. I feel like that plays into what I call the toxic law of attraction, black and white mentality of like attracts like. So well, obviously I must have to, spend 50K to make 50K. What goes out must come back.
Step at zero. That's
But
not a profit.
It's you I know people that if you've got a really great assumption around money and really strong mindset around money, they can be like, well, I'm going to spend this and I'm going to make this back, and they are so solid on it. But when somebody doesn't have that solid assumption, and they're doing it from that place of this feels incredibly risky, and they haven't then got all the mindset other stuff to back it up, it does become toxic. And what you said is so right. You shouldn't have to be, to me, the universe isn't saying, oh, when you stop grieving and you stop crying, or you stop having a bad day, oh, now you can have the present. It's like, that's crazy to me. It's very, very toxic. So I'm all about debunking that and saying that we're able to create, we're able to manifest, we're allowed to receive even when we are having a bad day. And the other thing that you said was about, to me, it would be a belief, a law of assumption kind of concept. You've got a concept, a self-concept that says, I don't need to take risky behavior to make money. So you allow money to flow without feeling like you need to engage in that. Whereas I think for other people, they're getting conditioned by, we call it coaches, mentors, gurus, whatever. They're being conditioned to believe that they need to take risky behavior, or they cannot receive until they start doing things like that. Do you think that's true potentially in the industry?
Yeah, I think you nailed it. And the other thing that comes to mind is that so many of my clients come to me with this pattern of being on a crazy roller coaster, and they just tell me, Hanna, I've made ridiculous amounts of money. Like, nobody would even believe me how much money I made, and there is nothing left. And so they're amazing receivers of money, but they're not great at having money. So they're great at receiving love, like windfalls of love, but they're not amazing at letting themselves have this like consistency of love. And I love it when my clients have a lot of money, because then their nervous system just goes like, they just it just unravels. Like, they have this really deep, beautiful release, and they feel the sense of ease and comfort and flow and freedom and deep relaxation in their own bodies. And I'm more interested in helping my clients create that than to, have these like hitting these amazing milestones. I sometimes think about how when we're on an airplane, like, currently what we're being taught with money to do is like to keep getting higher and higher and higher and higher. But the way that an airplane gets us to the happy end result is if it goes up, gets to a happy cruising altitude, cruises there, and then lands, and so that's a lot less stressful. So if we can get you to like 20K a month, 30K a month consistently, really easily, you have a wonderful quality of life. You can easily be a multimillionaire over the course of your life. And you can still be a good parent, and you don't have to stress yourself out in the moment, and you don't have to constantly do really stressful launches. And so I'm more interested in creating that. So anybody who's in the online space who's like feeling like they're not good enough because you never earn enough. And there was always, when you're a 6-figure entrepreneur, you should be a multi-six, and then you should be a 7, you should be an 8-figure entrepreneur. Find your cruising altitude. Figure out what the happy, healthy cruising altitude is for you, and then set up your finances to reach all of your goals and kind of compound in a more relaxed and passive kind of way.
I love that so much. You're going to laugh. And whether I pause the podcast or not to do this, my dogs have somehow managed to headbutt the door open, and they've I don't know how they've done it. Come on, out you go.
Oh my God.
We were speaking and the door just swung open.
This is a juicy conversation. They just want to chime in.
They're like, I just want to know about all the abundance. I'm just going to put something in front of the door and hope for the best that they won't break through. They're such monkeys. Completely. I think what you said is so important about having that cruising altitude, and there is nothing wrong with that. If that is what feels good for you, we don't need to be constantly chasing all the next dopamine hits of, you did it, you know, 6 figures next, 7 figures next. If you're not, if you're not growing, what are you doing? And I think this is, I asked you a little bit earlier about, about money and freedom. What does happiness ultimately mean to you? Whether that's with money included and wrapped up, but what does a happy life look like to you, or mean to you?
Right now, I feel a lot of peace of mind. I just feel very satisfied and settled and complete and whole. I think overall in my life, happiness is when I get to make choices based on soul. When I get to walk into a store and I get to buy the dress that my soul says yes to. When I get to travel to the place or stay at the hotel that my soul is a yes to. When I get to spend time with my friends and just when there's this congruency, this click of rightness, that's when I feel most happy and most aligned. And I needed to unlearn so many bullshit money and business things that I've been taught in order to let myself live this way. It feels really good to me.
It's inner freedom to be able to have those choices and to choose and keep choosing different things. You're allowed to change, aren't you? You don't have to stick to the same narrative forever. Like you said, you were in Amsterdam one minute, you're like, boom, I'm ready for something new. And that's okay. I think, especially when people have been manifesting something for a long time, they get it, they enjoy it. And then when they start feeling their soul saying, I want something new or I want more, they often then feel guilty. They're like, oh, but should I want to move on? Because, this was something I was manifesting. And I think that this is the natural evolution of being a human. Is Abraham Hicks always talks about it, that you'll always be expanding. So almost get to that place where you will anticipate that some contrast is going to come up that's going to steer you on to your next level, and that's absolutely okay to have that. So you said obviously there's lots of things that you like kind of debunking in your own life, I guess, and mindset and things with clients. What do you feel? I feel like we've touched on quite a few. Are there any particular spiritual mindset concepts where you're like, that is bogus? We need to get like a bogus button and be like, is there anything where you want to say to people, listen, if you see this, pie this off, and here's why?
Here's what I hear a lot from new clients is where they say, okay, Hannah, so I understand that I have to heal all of my wounds and then I can have money.
Oh,
and again, like that's a condition. Like, who made this up? And I'm like, okay, so it's completely and totally valid that your life has been difficult and you have some transgenerational trauma and you've got some inner wounding and the confidence wobbles don't feel good and you don't feel whole and overflowing, and all of that is valid, and we can do the emotional healing, of course. And the letting yourself receive more love in the form of money can happen right now. So let's do both at the same time. You get to heal emotionally and you get to receive more and more and more money in a variety of ways, through your work, through random windfalls from the universe, by letting your existing money actually stick around and grow. There's many different things that we can do with your money. I just believe that let's do it now. Why not now? You get to have all of it now. And so again, like this idea that once I'm fully healed, then I'll be financially abundant, like you deserve better than that. It feels really, and also I remember when I was like in the dark night of the soul, I was meditating, and while I was meditating, I felt amazing, opened my eyes, bank accounts were empty, and I felt terrible again. Having money in the bank was the best antidepressant for me. It felt so good. Money is the stuffy that keeps me warm and snuggly at night. Like I love having like bank accounts filled with money that help me know that if anything ever were to happen, I have money to help me and money to use as a solution. So it's really nice to have a life that works and to have finances that work. And so many of the emotional wounding that we might have might actually be solved by putting some money in your bank.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you have any other tips or tricks that you want to impart to our listeners, and how can people work with you?
I think the one thing I just want to reiterate, there's a feeling of truth in your own body. You don't have to believe me. You don't have to believe Esther. You don't have to believe any of the finance bros and financial experts. There's the feeling of truth in your own body that has been telling you what you want, that has been trying to show you what the right life looks like for you. It has been showing you the next steps to take. And even as you're listening to this podcast episode, there's probably some concepts about money and some beliefs that feel lighter to you than others. So let this feeling of truth guide you and let yourself build a life that centers around what feels good for you versus any external ideas of money and success that you've been taught to want. And so that's always where it starts for me. It's this feeling of truth in your own body that will show you the perfect next step. And the perfect next step will feel light. It will feel doable. It will feel accessible. It will even probably make you laugh because it's like so perfect.
I think what you said as well is so important. All of this, like this conversation and other conversations that are on this podcast, are going to be all about dismantling truths that are putting glass ceilings on your head, over your head, that are saying, yes, you can have money, but at the end of the day, it might be only when you say, get to the end of working with Hanna, then you can have the money. And you're like, no, like we can have it. Why can't you have that now? You know, and I think it takes self-awareness to just sit down and say, where am I telling myself stories and having assumptions or beliefs that are putting time caps on things, worthiness caps on things, and just getting you to a place where whatever the truths are or the thoughts or, you know, beliefs that you want to believe, because you get to pick and choose those, which are the ones that are most empowering for you. And I completely agree. Like what I always say, look, this is just my human experience, because I'm sure I've got things within me that over the course of my life I will keep dismantling and going, oh, that was a little bit limited. I didn't think it was, but actually, can I go bigger with that? And I always say to people, just cherry pick, like you say, what feels good in your body, what feels light, what feels true, what feels accessible, to create your own limitless version of happiness. So how can people find you, Hanna? Because they need to come and find you.
My website is hannabier.com. That's HANNABIER.com. You're also welcome to say hi on Instagram at Hanna Money Bliss. Just like Esther, I'm an author. My book is called Wealth from Within. This is a great first step. If you're listening to this and you're like, oh God, got some stuff around money, this is a really great first place to start working on your relationship with money, to discover a new way with money that, you know, is fruitful, that works, and that also feels really good, so that you can be blissfully happy with your money for the rest of your life.
And that is the best place to start. She's also got a free Money Bliss Subliminal. Hanna, you know I'm a massive fan of the subliminals. What's in your subliminal? You don't need to give us all the tea, but like what can people expect from listening to that track?
It's such a trust exercise, right? And sometimes I still get like responses from people like, I can't hear anything. It's just ocean sounds. It's just like, tell me. And I'm like, that's why I don't want you to know exactly what's in the subliminal, because you're just going to drink it up so much better if you have no idea at all. So I'm going to tease some things, but just listen to it and let it kind of work its magic on you. It's a very, very layered. So there's like millions and millions upon affirmations per second. Like it's very, very dense, very rich. And it's the Money Bliss approach summed up in a subliminal. It's all about, I work because I want to, not because I have to. I'm amazing at having money as well as receiving money. I choose to see money as fun and easy. So this, I love how light my relationship with money feels, and I wanted to put that in a subliminal. My intention with my clients is that money is the easiest, most flowing part of your life. We've got 99 problems, but money is easy. Like you're swimming in it. And so that's in the subliminal.
I love that so much. And I think that's, to me, I'm always like, subliminals are easy, lazy manifesting. Like you're just programming your subconscious at night. You're not having to really go there with anything. It's just like, hey, I'm just a sponge. Soak me up in all those banknotes, baby. I'm going to ask you one other question, because I remember you and I spoke about this in a previous conversation and we haven't touched on it. But you said to me, and again, this is a reflection of your self-concept and your mindset, You said to me, changing your appearance is super easy. So what parts of your appearance did you change through your mindset?
I used to live in Bali, took a boat to a tiny island that was so incredibly boring. There was nothing to do, there were no mirrors, and I was already playing with energy tools. And so I just thought, I'm gonna go change my face and my body. And so my entire childhood, I've been told that I have do you know like the ski jumping kind of like
Oh yeah.
what's that called? You know what I mean? So my nose was like this.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
lowered my nose. I had very, very thin lips. This
They,
is a
they,
collagen and elastin. I made this. I have no injections. I don't even do like skin things, like nothing at all. I changed the shape of my eyes. I wanted them to be a little bit more like this. And I
mm,
did my eyebrows. And I have cheekbones now. I made that happen. So your entire face is made up of mostly like muscles and elastin and collagen, and it's constantly regenerating. So you can change the picture of what your body is replicating for you. And then over time, your face changes. And it's so
mm.
much cheaper than plastic surgery. It's really easy. You can do it yourself because your body is regenerating all the time anyway.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah.
easiest thing for me to manifest. Like, I never had abs. So after having my child, I was like, I'm going to go create abs. I have visible abs now. Nobody in my family has abs, but it's so easy because your body is like really malleable anyway.
Yes, I just find that amazing. And what makes me laugh is I feel like after this conversation, you might be like, I'm just going to become a physical change manifestation coach because you said it's the easiest thing for you. But it's so interesting. People are obsessed with it. I think that the community that are really open to it are open, and I think a lot of people are still very closed-minded because again, we're very much taught this is who you are. You know, this is it. This is your genes. That's your lot in life. You know, deal with. So what did you do? Was it visualization? Was it, you know, affirming and telling the story of this is how I am rather than the story of the version of you that you were leaving behind?
Yeah, so I pictured divine source energy flowing through me and into every single cell of my body and into all the different nooks and crannies. And then I pictured everything loosening up. And then I just pictured my eyes changing shape and my nose changing shape and my mouth changing shape. And then I feel the tingles and I feel
Oh,
like the cheekbones changing. Like I have to pull up some pictures of when I was a child. I had no lips. Well into my 20s, no lips at all. Lips is the easiest thing because it's just like, it's so easy. Just like add some elastin, some collagen, just boop, really nice and plump. So I just pictured it. I've been like working on my jawline, and I'm just doing it for shits and giggles. Like it's so much fun to just play around with your body. Like it's not that serious. And if you change it and you don't like it, you change it again. Like
and
it's
exactly. But I think what you said then is just so important. Doing it for shits and giggles. Like you, in that space, you're so detached. You're not going like, oh my God, my life is dependent on my lips being bigger. You know, I still love myself, but hey, I'd like that, you know, but it's, you know, not the be all end all. And I think that's so important with manifesting is when we get so obsessive and attached to an outcome, we don't allow the flow of the change in the process. But I love it. I can almost see you in a kind of gross way, like turning to clay, and then it's like, just like smushing you around to where you want to be.
It's like the movie. One of my favorite movies is Death Becomes Her. Have you seen
Oh,
it? I
so
love it
good.
so much. And so they're
So
like,
good.
when they're falling apart, that's
Yeah.
almost what it feels like. But you need to kind of begin picturing your life as everything is like divine energy.
Mm,
And so, of course, it's all malleable. Of course, you can kind of move it around and switch it around. And
mm,
I just, it's so practical. Like I was traveling through California and I jumped out of my car that I was renting and I landed weird on my foot and I really injured my foot and it started swelling up. And so I just closed my eyes, I brought in the energy and I started tying back, like the muscles
yeah.
and the
Yeah.
ligaments and
Yeah.
everything. And then like 5 minutes later, I could walk again. So I know this is like shits and giggles and fun and games, but when you master these energy tools, it's so like it's really nice to not need to go see a doctor for every little thing when you can
Mm,
just kind of put your body back together and then, let it heal itself. It doesn't mean that I don't see a doctor if I need it, but most of the time I can just fix it myself.
I feel like we're going to have to do a part 2 because this is so strong. But you're right. Even though it's shits and gigs, everybody who is listening to this is a powerful creator, a powerful being. There's nothing different about myself or about Hanna. We're just tapping into things, and everybody can absolutely do the same and have fun along the way. And that's the great thing about it, is life is supposed to be fun. So while spirituality can seem more serious, it is about making it fun, light, accessible and tangible for everybody. So Hanna, I want to say a massive thank you for being here. I appreciate you so much. I hope you've had fun with me today.
I absolutely did. And you guys, if this body stuff is interesting, you're going to have to shoot Esther a message or shoot me a message and just be like, yes, I want more.
We want more juice on how to not just live our best lives. I don't know, it is living your best life in the 3D. It's living your best life in the 3D version of you. And you get to choose that, as well as all the other conditions like the money and so on and so forth. And that's it. It's all just principles, and once you know how to apply it to the different areas of your life, you're rolling, baby.
I appreciate you so much, Esther.
I appreciate you, Hanna. Thank you for being here. Guys, thank you for listening to Manifesting Happiness. I hope this has provided you with some super informative nuggets on money manifesting, and as well as, hey, maybe challenging you that you could be getting yourself a whole new set of lips without any injectables at all. I look forward to seeing you guys on the next episode. Please check out Hanna's website and her social media channels for more tips and money manifesting tools. Take care, and we will see you soon. Bye.